Welcome to the show. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. I'm your host, Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan, tuning in from sunny southern Spain, Marbella. It's blue skies out here today and a blue sky breakout for Bitcoin. It looks like we're headed into the next leg up, but I'll go over that in this episode and more. Also news after the infamous Elon Musk interview where he tells Bob Iger and Advertizers boycotting X to go F yourself. What's happening on a world stage after that fallout as Walmart pulls out in the latest Advertizers to boycott, and what this means as far as the crypto narrative coming up this cycle, and Elon Musk plans to make X the ultimate financial platform, the actual bank to replace banks, how this is possible, spoiler alert, probably by cryptocurrency and blockchain, and also some clips from some world leaders and really interesting people like Pink Floyd who are speaking out against the censorship and the control that the government and certain organizations in the world are trying to exercise, and what this fight is really about, why it's going to influence crypto and could set crypto up to explode, and 3 narratives I'm looking at to be in the most successful categories this upcoming bull run, and the coins within those narratives that I think will do the best along with their charts. So if you like that, smash the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hi Bob. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So first up, let's zoom out and have a look at just exactly where we are on the technology adoption curve. And don't let any YouTuber or anybody, any friends or the hype or the feeling of FOMO convince you that you're late to the party, because you most definitely are not. And I'm going to prove that to you now. So in this first chart, this is the technology adoption curve. And right now, we're currently somewhere between the innovator. We just passed the innovator phase. We're here in this visionary phase, in the early adopters. We have so much room to grow. And in fact, this is also another look at the technology adoption curve. So if we go up here, the cryptocurrency adoption curve is the fastest in human history. That's right, it's faster than the internet itself. And we are set, according to this chart, to onboard another 3.4 billion users by the end of the decade. Right now, we are only 425 million users worldwide. It's absolutely incredible. So you're just tuning in at the right time if you're new. And if you're not new, welcome to another cycle. We are going to crush it this cycle. I'm certain of it. So first up, I'm going to get into the news after Elon's infamous interview where he tells Bob Iger and all advertisers to go F yourself. So you can skip through this. I'm going to put timestamps there if you want to go directly to the hot coins and the trending narratives of next cycle. But just know that understanding where we are on this world scale and what's going on with these narratives is going to influence crypto directly. So if you really want to have a thorough understanding and be able to win in this and be one step ahead, you should pay attention. So X is the only platform you can trust for honest information. All others are bought and paid for. And that's what Elon believes. That's what he's standing behind. It's probably why he stepped in to acquire X in the first place. He wants to actually change things. I know that a lot of people in the comments, they were very excited about what he said and they found it awesome that he was standing up to this censorship and to this kind of like narrative they want to push on us and the control. However, others thought it was inappropriate and that he shouldn't have done it. Well, I stand somewhere in between where I understand that it is very satisfying to watch, even if he didn't deliver it in the best way possible, but it's the message behind and the sentiment behind, and that is, we don't want this kind of narrative anymore. We don't want the decisions to be made for us. We don't want to be shaped by the manipulation of the media. And so Elon is saying, let people be free. Let people live. Let people make their own decisions. And so that's the thing I can get behind, and the part that I love about the fight that Elon's fighting, and what Charles Hoskinson would call the good fight. And he's also coming up, so stay tuned because I have a few clips from him, new clips that are really interesting in the unfolding of this narrative. So here we have Elon Musk is wiping the floor with the cable's face. This is a battle cry to everyone on Earth. We must end the new world order. Don't back down. Don't let up. Everything we hold dear hangs in the balance. So this is kind of like really in parallel with what we're fighting for in crypto. for freedom and sovereignty of our own money, of our identity, of our data. So this is really tied hand in hand. And if Elon wins in this fight, I mean, like I said in the intro, he is planning on making X a financial platform that can replace your bank. Think about that. The only way he'll be able to do it without getting blocked and without getting censored is by using crypto and blockchain. So he's planning on launching this. He's made this public that he wants to launch this the October 2024-ish. That'll be right in the heart of when we're most in euphoria phase almost. According to the charts that I've looked at, I think we're going to get it a lot earlier than most people think. So we'll just be getting into when we're going to have our big run, which I've said multiple times that I think the first top could come at the beginning of 2025 or at most July 2025 or summer. So it all, the timing is there. Here we have, hi Bob. All of the data shows TikTok and Instagram promote far more anti-Semitism, but you remove advertising from one platform, taking a stand for free speech. Why do you want to use Disney's advertising dollars to suppress freedom of speech of America? So this comes off the back of, today Elon Musk said his top priorities are freedom of speech and making life multiplanetary. And Bob Iger said his top priority is making Marvel movies. At some level, elite hatred of Elon Musk has to be driven by their own mediocrity. So, okay, I think it's kind of a stretch, but yes, what they're saying is, this all goes back to the message, you guys. Take the message, take what you like and leave the rest. And the bottom line is, Elon says, I'm sick of people trying to look good who do evil. Just do good. So even if Elon doesn't always deliver the message properly, he is doing good. And that's a fact. That's a fact based on everything he's done with Tesla and renewable energy and all of the things he's exploring right now. So let's pivot toward that model instead of just trying to look proper and fit into the proper box and mold. Next up, Glenn Greenwald says corporate journalists are losing their minds over Elon Musk calling out major corporations for stifling free speech because they are in bed with the very corporations they claim to scrutinize. So there's a lot of hypocrisy going on. And there's a lot of deals made and a lot of politics behind everything. So Greenwald explains that we are at a crossroads where journalism, once a watchdog of establishment power, is now shackled by corporate advertisers. Absolutely true. What went wrong here is not what Elon Musk said. It's so revealing that so many journalists are aghast that anyone would dare to tell Disney and major corporations to go F off when they're trying to limit, censor, and control the flow of political content. That's what this is all about. If you aren't willing to say to the corporations who are trying to limit what you can say, don't bother calling yourself a journalist. We need more journalists willing to say, go F yourself to people who try to limit what they say. So that's just like in a nutshell what this is about.
Now, anyone who works in journalism, anyone who works in media, and who has worked within the standard model of how journalism has operated in the United States for decades, which is the model of corporate advertising, knows that that model imposes extremely severe restraints on what media outlets can and can't do. There are certain journalists that they can't hire because the journalists will say things that will offend corporate advertisers on whom they depend in order to survive as a media outlet. Of course, relying on corporate advertisers severely restricts the kinds of opinions you can air, the types of perspectives you can permit, the kind of reporting you can do. And what's so amazing about this is that if you're a journalist, the thing that you should hate more than anything is any force or any influence that tries to limit your freedom to speak. Your reaction, if you're actually just a journalist in terms of your composition, your comportment, your personality, your mentality, when even thinking there might be someone or something trying to limit your freedom to speak, should be exactly what Elon Musk said there. Go fuck yourself.
All right. I'm not going to play this whole clip, but just know that that's what we're up against. What is really real these days? If all of the narratives are shaped by what we should and are allowed to say based on who funds us, right? I mean, this is a really complex topic, but this is what Elon is fighting against and what he wants X to represent. A platform that is free of that political binding. and that control. And now here, I'm going to play you a clip, just exactly why, even if we're in crypto and things are going well, why none of this matters if we can't have freedom, if we're not free. And this is a really important point. So I think you're going to like this clip.
200 million people with 10 cent into their CBDC, and they're combining with social credit. This is the desire of some people. So this is the fight of our lifetime. And, frankly, nothing matters. There are a lot of moon boys running around there. Oh, which NFT is going to be big? Is it SNEC or is it this thing or Hosky coin or that? It's like, why does any of that matter? Look at Jack Ma. He was one of the richest guys in Chinese history, super powerful guy, super big and prominent guy, pissed off the government. Now he's learning Taoist poetry, wandering the streets of Bangkok, playing golf and hoping to God he doesn't get purged. Or look at all the powerful, rich, billionaire Russian oligarchs. The minute that they piss off Putin, they have a whole epidemic of falling out of windows. It's a terrible thing. They have the shoddiest windows you'll ever see in Russia. All these billionaires are falling out of windows. Well, go figure. So does it really mean anything or matter to have all this money and power and be rich if you live in a society that's authoritarian, or a society that's even like 1984 authoritarian, where the authoritarian's actually an algorithm that you can't influence or control? So to me, I've always been a libertarian at heart. I say, just let people be free. Let people have rights. That's the original American invention. We wrote the Constitution. We had the Bill of Rights. And we thought that if people could have their own faith and people could have their own speech and the right to assemble and fundamental human rights, God-given rights, that we as a society would be better off. And that built the greatest nation in human history. And now we have a war for the identity of that nation. And there's people who have decided that we no longer have the right to have that. We should live in a dystopian society. And I think the cryptocurrency movement at its core is not an economic one. It's one about freedom and liberty. So I will say that from mountaintops. And what you see going on with Coinbase and all this stuff with the SEC, those are just tools to basically push us in that particular direction. And we have to stand up and say, no, we'd like to own our own identity, have our own economic agency, and be in control of our lives.
Wow, I could not say it better. I could not have said it better. We need to stand up, take control, say, hi, Bob, and move forward in this movement, because this is exactly what we're fighting for. Remember, I said this last episode, a quote from Michael Saylor: "Nothing that you think you own do you own except at the mercy of someone more powerful than you." And for the first time in human history, we have digital property rights, and that is huge. So next up, I'm going to play you a clip from my podcast, actually, where I had a guest from Pink Floyd, the saxophonist from Pink Floyd, Scott Page, super cool. And he's also discussing this similar topic. And it seems that all of the brilliant minds and all of the people who are gravitating toward Web3 feel the same way. So check this out.
And I always figured it's so interesting. We're living in this world, this thing I call hate in the name of love. It's okay to hate because I'm so loving, right? Because because it's so interesting, because you see all these people on social media and there's stuff in there like, oh, kindness and nothing but love, right, and yoga and treat your neighbor and all that stuff. But then if there's something politically, they're like, they're evil. And you say, wait a minute, this awakening of people, it's going to be a lot of suffering. We're going to see it right now. We're seeing all what's happening with the supply lines and the fuel and the gas prices. To look at Europe, we're here in the States, we're kind of shielded a little bit right now, but it's come in this direction. And I think it's going to be a very, very rough time. But I truly believe that after this, it is going to be the greatest, one of the greatest rides we've ever had.
That's what I was telling you before. Also, yeah. I agree with you that after this difficult period in our lifetime, in this generation, it's going to be one of the greatest things we've ever witnessed.
No question.
So that's just a clip from our podcast. It was filmed actually earlier this year. If you like that, I'll put a link to it here and you can watch the whole episode. Scott Page is absolutely just legendary. I mean, he's been had mentors like Quincy Jones and been in a room with so many cool people. And actually on this channel, I like not only to give you information about crypto and how to make money in the crypto markets, but also motivation. So I thought this was a fun clip that I'm just going to add in there. So if you like it, you can go check out this podcast. It's Scott Page's mentor, Michael Smotherman, who was deemed the next Elvis back in the day, told him the secret to gaining that ultra mega confidence and belief in yourself to go forward with the things you have conviction in, whether that be taking a step toward getting the career of your dreams or quitting your 9-to-5 job or getting, starting to work in Web3, whatever it is, just to have this confidence. I thought this clip was fun, so I'm going to play this for you.
It was like a whole different thing. You're just kind of thrown into the thing to react. And I started to realize that's where the magic happens. It's in those things before your mind starts to get into that.
So he taught you to feel.
He taught me. I mean, he was one of my biggest mentors about things that, like, when you would always say, if it's a little attitude, it just sounds like there's more of you. Like, don't worry about it. If it's working, it feels good. Don't worry about it. Just go for it. Always think out. So one night, and like I said, he owned the room. When he walked in the room, the whole place, he had this magnetism. And he said to me, he says, Scott, it's like 4:00 in the morning, been working out there, having a drink, he's like, man, every time you play your saxophone, he says, I don't care if you're just picking it up to practice or you're going to play a bar mitzvah or you're going to, whatever it is, you got to play like you got a big
God,
dick.
that's incredible. You can say it here. You can say it here.
A big dick. And I went, whoa. He says, you don't have to have it. You just got to play like you got one.
Right.
And that stuck with me so hard. So now,
internalize
every
that
time,
feeling.
whenever I play and it's my turn, I go in the zone.
Watch out.
Right notes, wrong notes, bad notes, good notes. It doesn't matter because what carries across is that attitude.
Powerful attitude. I would call it taking your space.
Yeah.
That's it, guys. Take your space in this world. Move forward and believe in yourself, and all will be well. Next up, a huge amount of data analysis and work with leadership behind this. Bottom line, TikTok does not merely reflect pre-existing sentiment. It is shaping views, creating a dangerous environment for Jews. TikTok ratio differs from opinion polls. So these are a lot of people just going on and on about how TikTok and Instagram are actually much worse as far as anti-Semitism, even though they are the more pro-censorship platforms. They're just pointing to the fact that they are actually worse than X. And here we have Greg Gutfeld stands up for Elon Musk and says the quiet part out loud. Tucker Carlson was canceled from Fox by special interest groups tied to political interests.
It's like extorting Jerry Nadler with salad. Or blackmailing sports fans by threatening to cancel PBS. The fact is, Musk may be the last man standing between real freedom of speech and the suffocating block of the censorship industrial complex, which is made up of government, media, and tech forces. He realizes that advertisers have no spine and can be easily cowed by special interest groups in cahoots with political allies. If you don't believe me, I got 2 words for you. Tucker Carlson. Woohoo.
So there you have it. People around the world are starting to wake up to what Elon Musk is, what the real fight here is. Not the actual political correctness or, what should we say, what shouldn't we say, but actually what's behind all of this, which is freedom. We need to work toward that freedom in everything that we do. Here we have some news. U.S. judge threatens SEC for false arguments in debt box case. So another case in which the Congress is standing up to the SEC and saying that it's beyond its bounds and that it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So a U.S. judge is warning that the SEC with threatened sanctions after the Securities Exchange Commission used false arguments in a case against crypto firm DebtBox. The commission's lawyers use these arguments to convince a courtroom to impose a temporary restraining order on DebtBox. So this is interesting to see. I mean, this has been a fight also between Congress and the US versus the SEC and saying that it's constantly overstepping its bounds and doing things that it shouldn't. And the SEC just keeps going. It's like it's that last grip of power and control and trying to push us toward that side. And so it's interesting to see when the US judge comes out and says, actually, you're going to get sanctioned if you keep doing this. So there's also a battle within our own government. Walmart pulls advertising from Elon Musk's X platform. Let me know in the comments how you think this is going to pan out. Do you think Elon will win, or do you think the advertisers will win, and what will happen with X? I believe that this is just the beginning of a cascading effect that will ripple throughout crypto. Ripple, no pun intended, but XRP, and that crypto will absolutely explode with this narrative. And this is just the beginning. So next up, Bitcoin charts. Where are we? Blue sky breakouts. Here we go. We've broken out of this ascending triangle and we're just tracking this now. And a retest would be anywhere around 38,400 to where it is now. So we're just kind of waiting and seeing what Bitcoin is going to do. Here, I showed this chart yesterday. This is what happened after the breakout in the September-October period. We just skyrocketed up, and the equivalent of that, if we were to do that again now, would be up to around $43,000. So here's an interesting clip from Eric Crown. I told you yesterday he gives excellent statistics, and he's talking about how in December, if you've had a green September in the history of Bitcoin, 4 out of the 5 Decembers have been very, very bullish, if that were the case. And that was the case this year. So that's just more confluence pointing toward the fact that this breakout is real and that we're going to continue.
But here's a nuance: is that we had something very unique about this prior September. September was green, and September is usually not green. It's the most red month actually for Bitcoin. And whenever we've seen a September green, the December that follows that has had an 80% probability, or 4 out of the 5 only green Septembers did print positive Decembers, and did have an average return for the positive ones at just under 24%. Okay, let's go back in over here. Now that, again, we have the official close for November, what would 24% look like on top of current price action? Holy shit! Bitcoin would be right around the March 2022 breakdown region. So that is the bull trap of 2022, very important part. Also, the 786 Fibonacci retracement, if we go from the ultimate high to the ultimate low of the prior cycle. Very interesting on a closing basis, I should add.
So he's got his targets toward 46,000, and our other chart shows 43,000, and the measured move of the breakout of this ascending triangle shows 41. So somewhere in the beginning to mid 40s is where we could end up if this move continues, which all statistics point to the fact that it probably could. And now what some of you maybe have been waiting for, the trending narratives coming up, the top 3 I'm looking at today. And what are the coins within these narratives that I believe are set to do very well? So as we have here, layer ones are going to do well. So we've got Solana. I'm not the biggest fan of Solana, but I'm actually starting to change my tune because I see that it's building a very strong community. It's improving on the chain that, in my opinion, went down far too often. And it seems to be getting better and better. And also, that is what the mainstream is looking at. So I wouldn't count out Solana as a big runner in this next crypto bull run. Also, what we have here, besides layer ones, real world assets. This is going to be a big one. DeFi and AI. So layer one is just something I threw in there, but the main things I'm looking at today are real world assets, DeFi, and AI. Those 3 narratives, I think those are going to be absolutely just killer this coming cycle. And here we have Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, says tokens are the next generation for markets. All securities will be tokenized. When BlackRock speaks, the world listens. And so JP Morgan is actually working on a solution called Onyx, which is built on Ethereum. So do not count Ethereum out in this cycle. I've said it time and again. Don't count ETH out just because it's not one of the shiny, trendy coins. It's going to do very well this coming bull run. And also, of course, if real world assets are going to be one of the main narratives, we've got Chainlink as one of the main contenders to do phenomenal this bull run. And I don't think it saw the love it should have last bull run because we didn't have that narrative yet. It was too early, but now we do. And from the likes of BlackRock, who has $10 trillion under management in assets. It's insane. So let's see here. JP Morgan made a major breakthrough in tokenization this week. The company debuted its blockchain settlement trade in a trade involving Barclays and BlackRock. The new breakthrough is important for Chainlink, which has a pole position in tokenization. So, Chainlink is working with companies like ANZ Bank and Swift to power this industry. Swift is a major player in the financial services industry since it links thousands of banks and handles billions of dollars a day. So if we're going to have real world assets as one of the biggest narratives, we need an oracle to bring us that offline data onto the blockchain. And Chainlink is the most robust, the best partnerships, and the one that's been working the longest in this space. I believe it is set to do phenomenally well this bull run. The plumber of the internet. Here we have a little more on it. Chainlink has positioned itself as a key infrastructure provider. So picks and shovels, those are always some of the best bets. For connecting blockchains to external data through its Oracle network, it stands to benefit as a real-world asset tokenization gains traction in crypto. So the more and more this narrative goes on and we see BlackRock getting involved, the more hype and eyes Chainlink is going to get. Here we have just have a look. Chainlink is in a bull pennant, currently trying to break out, and we could see $26 Chainlink in this next move. And I believe Chainlink most definitely is going to be a 3-digit coin, maybe $200 to $300 this cycle. So Chainlink, do not fade Chainlink. Here's the chart that I made. Now I was tracking it when we were in this box here back in October. This is where we first started talking about it. Since it's gone to 1584 and it is currently a 5x to its all-time high. I believe it's only a 5x to its all-time high because it didn't perform as well as I think it should have last cycle because we didn't have that kind of adoption yet and that narrative was not there yet. It was ahead of its time. So here you can see almost 2 years of accumulation, and it's now breaking out of that. The longer the accumulation, the bigger the move. Let's go Chainlink. And here we've got the Ethereum chart. Ethereum is in an ascending triangle. And when we break this level of 2,126, it's blue skies from there. We'll see the measured move is almost a $3,000 Ethereum. And from there, we're not far from all-time highs. So once the ETH starts pumping, it waits for no one. Let's have a look at this updated chart. This is zoomed out. So Ethereum's all-time high was almost $5,000. At the time when I did this, it was 2.6x down from its all-time high. And if it hits 15,000 this cycle, that would be an 8x from where I was talking about it. 20,000, a 10.6x. And this is just from Cathie Wood, ARK Invest's, prediction that I did in another episode about Ethereum. But so I started talking about Ethereum on this channel when I launched my 200 days to daily videos to Bitcoin halving back here when it was at about 1,700 and since then is at 2,100 and it is working on that breakout which could send it up to $3,000. So do not fade ETH. This is also one of the fundamentals in my portfolio and it's also the safer bet. So it's good to have exposure. Of course, I must include Cardano, ADA. I did a lot about this in the last episode, so I'm not going to go into depth about all the amazing use cases and why I believe it's so incredible and why it'll get a lot of traction, if not just for its incredible visionary leader, Charles Hoskinson, and where he could take this project. But we broke out of one of the key resistance levels. We currently broke out of one of the key resistance levels around 38 cents here, and we could see 53 cent Cardano sooner rather than later if this pump continues and when Bitcoin dominance starts to trend downward. Like I said, we have seen nothing yet. When Bitcoin dominance truly starts to retrace, which could be up until after halving before this happens, that's when we'll see the beginning of the explosive altcoin cycle, and all bets are off. Now, the other narrative I was talking about, DeFi. You remember Binance, forget quickly, but Binance was just under fire by the SEC and had to pay a $4 billion fine, or is set to pay a $4 billion fine. And what I included in that episode was an interview with CZ, and CZ said, when the interviewer asked him, are you threatened by all these DEXes, decentralized exchanges? Are you threatened by them? Absolutely, he said. And that's why we're investing so much money in them. Decentralized exchanges and decentralization will be a major, major part of this next narrative. I mean, look at what we're doing. We're fighting in the real world, censorship. How do you fight that? You decentralize things. So Uniswap is one of the biggest DEXes, decentralized exchanges, so this could be a really good bet to add to your portfolio. It's currently starting to break out of its falling wedge, and the measured move is $12, so that's a 100% increase from here. Another one I'm looking at is DYDX, and we are in the same formation. I mean, a lot of these altcoins are in these formations, and as soon as we break through these levels, around 3.345, our measured move is almost $6. And of course, the titans of the DeFi space, which are Aave, coins like that. And I'm going to give you a DeFi gem at the end of this, a very, very low cap pick, 100x and beyond potential. But I want you guys to be really careful with this and have a lot of responsibility when it comes to this. First up, though, Solana. Like I said before, we're not going to fade Solana. It's got an incredible ecosystem, and it is also breaking out of a pendant formation, currently hovering at resistance around $61, and the measured move is $107 and will go well beyond this cycle. And they've got all the big partnerships, so that's definitely on the radar. And then we're going to move to AI. Now, there's a lot of coins within AI. I'll do one episode just dedicated to the AI narrative, like SingularityNet, but I want to focus our attention back to THETA because I'm so bullish on THETA and it's very undervalued right now, in my opinion. So, THETA Network to enable collaborative machine learning with new partnership. THETA Labs co-founder and CEO Mitch Liu highlighted the partnership unlocks a new use case for THETA's edge nodes. Blockchain video delivery network THETA Labs has partnered with artificial intelligence platform FedML to enable collaborative machine learning content recommendation and generative AI. So THETA is powering a lot of AI plays. So when you're talking about AI, you don't want to focus on just the coins that say they have exposure, but who's actually facilitating that? Again, picks and shovels. Here we have Microsoft AI reveals its top crypto picks. THETA is one of the tops, so that's always something to pay attention to. Partners with Pet Collective, so Microsoft AI has handpicked THETA Network as a top crypto for excellent reasons. It revolutionizes how people consume digital content, particularly videos. So that's just one of its many use cases. And here we have THETA Network token up 8% after the launch of AI Supercluster with FedML, which I just discussed in the previous news clip. And they just launched their THETA Edge Cloud, which is absolutely incredible. They have tons of patents, nearing 100, I think, in the US now. And here again, I'm going to show the chart that I've been showing when I started talking about it, which was under $1, well under $1 in October here, maybe around 75 cents. The THETA all-time high is $15.90, and it was at a 24x to that all-time high, and now it's 14.5x the all-time high, and I believe we're going to smash that all-time high this cycle. So this one's got a lot of room to run. And then, of course, don't fade TFUEL, which THETA is the governance token. TFUEL is like the gas token of the network, the transaction token. And this one, I think, could possibly have a bigger run than THETA. I mean, we're talking 30 to 40x, and I will go over in a video just dedicated to THETA exactly why I believe this and what the price targets would be if that could happen. But let's just say a conservative 13x just to get to all-time highs from where it's at now. Talk about undervalued. People are not paying attention to this narrative, and I believe they should. So this is one of the tokens in my portfolio as well. We're currently at around just under 5 cents. I guess kind of like buying Cardano at that area when I bought it last cycle. And we could see, I mean, just all-time highs to 54 cents would be a 13.6x. And last but not least, I'm not going to give you a lot of information on this. It came to my attention in one of the groups that I'm a part of. This is an ultra mega risky play, so just have a lot of responsibility. Understand this thing could go to zero. This is for couch cushion change. It's PondCoin, PondOX. So it's a decentralized DEX following in line with the DeFi and the DEX plays that actually rewards you Pepe for trading on it. So it gives 100% of its fees back to the users, which is pretty revolutionary. And they're trying to play on the Pepe meme and you know, just things that are really popular in crypto while also doing transformational things in the DeFi space. So it's an ultra mega low cap. It's currently now at $31 million for market cap. That is very, very small. So take a lot of care and responsibility when looking at this. Here it is on the charts on MEXC. You can buy it on MEXC. It's just broken out of its very long and consolidated descending wedge. And now we're just currently working on retesting here. And the measured move is quite high for this. So, yeah, this could be something to look at if you want to play around, dip your feet in the pond, but do not bet all your eggs and absolutely do not do that. This is just for fun and just things that I've been looking at that have been kind of like getting a lot of traction in the community and a lot of attention. They're constantly updating and hyping it up. So this could do well this next coming bull run with all the narratives. So that's it. Please understand this is not financial advice. This is just things to put on your radar for this coming bull run. If you're shopping around right now and some of the stuff that I'm doing, all of the previous coins I mentioned are in my portfolio. I did buy a small bag of this PMDC. We'll see where it goes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode and I'll see you tomorrow.